Hello everybody and welcome to Tell Me About Gaming. Sit back, relax, and open up your ears because today I'm going to be telling you guys my thoughts on the final release of Albion Online, the ultimate circle around the chess simulator. Let's get into it. Now, first of all, I know I have not uploaded in ages and that sucks, but there is a very good reason for it and I will be discussing that in an upcoming video, so if you've been wondering where I was at, make sure to watch out for that. For now, however, let's get back to the subject and let's talk about Albion. So what is Albion Online? Well, Albion is a sandbox MMORPG that has some very deep lore, some really awesome player-driven mechanics, and that takes place in a massive open world. Now, as I just said a few moments ago, the game is very focused on player-driven systems. It features things like a player-driven economy. Almost all of the equipment in the game is crafted by players. You can take over areas and run them for yourself. There's just so much to this game when it comes to player-driven mechanics. Now, the game also has a huge spotlight on player versus player, so if you're someone who really enjoys PvP-driven MMOs, you should really keep this one on your radar and make sure to check it out some more, because it definitely has a lot of that. Alright, so now that we've established the basics of the game, let's get into the things that I like about it. First of all, I want to start by talking about the most obvious thing, and that is the art style. Now, art style in video games is usually something that is very subjective, and for me personally, I absolutely love Albion's art style. It's very low poly, very cartoony, but I think it fits the atmosphere perfectly. It fits what the game was going for, and I very much enjoy it. Now, with that being said, I know there's plenty of people out there who are going to hate it with a passion and will refuse to play this game because of it, but for me personally, I think it deserves 2 thumbs up, and I think it was done very well. Make sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys personally think about the art style. Do you think it looks awesome and unique, or do you think it looks horrible and crappy and old gen? Make sure to let me know. I want to hear your thoughts as well. Now, after the art style, I want to talk about the things you're going to be hearing in this game, and that is the music and the sound effects. Let's first of all start by talking about the sound effects. Now, I think the ambient sound in this game is done very well. Depending on which environments you are in, the sound will change and it fits that environment. It feels immersive and at the same time, it doesn't get in your way. Now, with that being said, this is obviously not going to be top tier sound design like you'd hear in a game like Battlefield, but for what this game is and the type of style it's going for, I think the ambient sound is done very well and I give it big 2 thumbs up. Now, the other sound effects in general, like the sounds of the horses and the frogs croaking, and just the plain out player sounds from weapon attacks and all those types of things, I think they're also done very well, but again, they're nothing amazing, they're nothing that's going to blow your mind. For what it is though, I think they're fine, there's nothing wrong with them, and I have nothing bad to say about them. Now, when it comes to the music in the game, once again, I think it was handled very well. It picks up and pace when it should, it has an epic sound, it fits the atmosphere and the style of game, and I think overall it is very well done. Once again, no real complaints. I guess the only thing I could add was maybe some variation in the instruments, but even then, as I said before, I think the instruments that they do use fit the style of the game very well, and I really don't have any issues with it, so I think the music was also very well done, and once again, I have nothing bad to say about it. Alright, so now that we've talked about the artistic sides of the game, let's start talking about the actual gameplay itself and the gameplay mechanics, and let's start by talking about the combat and the class system in this game. Now, the reason I want to bring up the class system is because there really isn't one. In Albion Online, your skills are based pretty much off what you are wearing. You are what you wear. That is something that the developers have been pushing from day one. So an example of this is if you're somebody who likes bow and arrows, if you like that type of playstyle, and you're wearing leather armor and carrying a bow, well, that's going to determine what your skill set is. However, you can actually mix and match that. So if you wanted to be someone who plays with a bow and arrow, but you've always wanted the really heavy armor instead of the little leather armor, and to be a tanky archer, that is also something you can do. You can get the heavy armor, stick with the bow, and you now have a new skill set, and that's what determines how your combat's going to change and how it's going to work. So I think that's a really awesome system. It allows for some dynamic combos, and it doesn't lock people in to a specific playstyle from the start. You're actually able to change and freshen things up whenever you want, and that is really awesome to see in an MMO. Now, the combat itself is nothing amazing, but once again, it's good. It's the typical MMO combat that you're going to find in most games, which is you have your list of skills, you have your auto attack, you click on the enemy, you use your Q, W, E, R buttons, whatever, and you send your spells after them, and that's more or less how the combat works. Now, once you get into guild combat and those types of things, when you're playing with other people, obviously that's when strategy comes in. That's when you have your tanks and your DPS doing specific roles and specific things during combat. But if you're playing this game solo and when you're just doing PvE content, most of the time it's the same typical stuff you'll see in any other MMO. You find your target, you use your spells, and you fight. It's basic, but it works good, and I enjoy it. Now, let's talk about the big selling point of this game, and that is the player-driven systems. Personally, I think they are really, really awesome. However, there is a drawback to them, and we're going to talk about that in the bad area of this video. But for now, let's talk about the good stuff. I think the emphasis on player-driven systems is really awesome, and I really enjoy it. It adds a fresh, unique take to the genre, and it also makes it a lot more interesting to keep playing this game as things are dynamic, things are changing, certain guilds are taking over certain places, they fight, they lose it. Everything is constantly changing in this game. It is an evolving world. It is not static like a lot of MMOs. So you're constantly going to be seeing new things. You're going to be seeing different people in power, different people running different shops and that type of stuff. And the prices, the economy, everything's going to change. It's going to be dynamic. It's going to keep things fresh. And that is obviously very important when it comes to replayability and the long-term scope of a game. So once again, big thumbs up for how much emphasis the developers put on player-driven systems. Also, I just wanted to mention real quick how much fun this game is to play with friends. It's a very chill game, and you can really just hang out with friends, talk, and have a good time. It reminds me very much of the old RuneScape days, where after school I'd jump on, I'd hit up my friends, we'd play some RuneScape, just chill for a couple of hours, talk, do our thing, and it was a lot of fun. So if you have friends to play this game with, that is definitely going to be great. Although if you're playing it by yourself, you'll still have a good time. I just wanted to add that here real quick, that you can definitely play this game with your friends and have a very good time with it. Finally, the last good thing I want to talk about is really just all the small details. There's so much small things in this game that add up to make it a very great experience, whether that be how the crafting works, how the story is written, the lore, the different pieces of dialogue you'll find in the game, the characters, the art style. Everything together makes a very nice package, and all the little details in this game are usually very well done. So I just wanted to mention that as well. And with that being said, let's start talking about the negative aspects of this game and the things that I personally don't enjoy. So first of all, I want to talk about the bugs. There are quite a few bugs in this game. Now, I have to say personally, I haven't experienced a whole lot. However, I definitely have experienced some. For example, for a good 3 to 4 hours, I wasn't able to play the game and actually record it, as I kept getting black screens as soon as I tried to log in. There's sometimes queue systems in place to make sure that the servers don't get overloaded, which can be annoying. And it's even happened to me where I've waited in a queue, finally got through it, black screened, and then I had to exit, and it was just horrible. So there are bugs in this game. Be prepared for it. Like any other MMO launch, not everything is going smooth for them. However, the developers seem to be aware of this. They seem to actually care, and they're trying their best to fix these things. So just be aware that they do exist. This is not a perfect game when it comes to bugs, but it is also not the worst. It has its issues, but most things seem to work quite fine, and really I can't complain too long about bugs because I haven't personally experienced a whole lot of them, just a few here and there. Now, the big thing that I have experienced, and that I think a lot of other people have experienced, is that this game is very, very grindy. So if you're somebody who absolutely hates grinding in MMOs, you very much might want to take two thoughts about this game before getting into it, give it a try at a friend's house or something, because there is definitely a lot of grinding to it. Now with that being said, because the main gameplay is so enjoyable, as I said before, the art style, the music, the sound, the combat, everything comes together so nicely, you kind of ignore the grind sometimes. You can get through it, but it definitely is there and you will feel it at times. So if you're somebody who's not a huge fan of grinding, just be aware that that is a thing, and maybe take 2 cents before thinking about buying the game. Now finally, the last thing I want to talk about before this video is done on the negative side of things is actually something that can be taken either as a negative or a positive. I just didn't know where to put it, and for me personally, I'm not a huge fan, so I figured I'd put it in the negative section, and that is that this game does not hold your hand at all. It doesn't tell you anything. You basically get thrown into the world, you have a couple of quests to show you the basics of things, but then it is all up to you to do whatever the hell you want. Now, I know a lot of people like this, but there's also going to be people on the other side of the spectrum that aren't going to like it, and I'm one of those people. I do like a little direction in my games to at least put me on the right path. This game doesn't care. It's like, here, go have fun, do what you want, which is great for some people, bad for others. So I figured I'd just put it here at the end of the video, let you guys know in case you're on my side or the other side, just so you're aware that it does exist, and that if you're somebody who needs to be led down a path, have fun. So overall, what do I think of Albion Online? I think it's a really good MMO, and I think it's worth saying that I am not a huge fan of the genre. I usually get very bored with them, and I don't enjoy playing them that much, but Albion I have enjoyed my time with, and I want to also point out that I have not only played final release, I've been part of the betas and the alphas and all that stuff. I bought this game I think over 2 years ago, so I've been playing it for quite a while. As you guys know on my channel, when I do reviews, I don't really give a score. I more or less just say if I recommend the game or not, and personally, I definitely do recommend Albion. If you're looking for a new MMO, if you're looking for something that's fresh and different, something that you can just play on your off time, have a fun time with, or take very competitively, and just want something that's a great package, I think Albion is a really awesome game, and you should definitely check it out. Okay everyone, so that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a rather long one and I rambled on about some things, so I do apologize for that. I tried to make it as short as I could, but it's an MMO. There's so much stuff to talk about that it's kind of hard to cram it into a 10-minute video. Anyway guys, I very much hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave the video a thumbs up. It really helps me and it lets me know that you guys want to see more content like this. Make sure to comment below what you guys think about Albion if you've already played it. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see your beautiful minds in the next video.